Well, congestion pricing is in full effect, as we have been talking all morning about. Drivers entering Manhattan below 60th Street must now pay a $9 toll during peak hours. The new plan leaving many drivers concerned about affordability, among other things. Joining us now, Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella. Vito, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
So, we've been talking about New Jersey a lot, obviously, with the GWB, people not getting a discount there. In Staten Island gets mentioned as well. But I want to talk about specifically about the people in your area and exactly the impact it's going to have on Staten Island drivers.
It's going to hurt them a lot. We already pay 2 tolls in order to get to Manhattan. This will be a 3rd one. We are car-dependent borough because we're not integrated with the rest of the subway system, as the other boroughs are. Even Westchester County and Long Island and New Jersey, we don't have a subway. So people are dependent upon their cars, and it's going to punish them economically, especially younger people who may be just starting out work, to the tune of another $2,000 a year just to begin with, on top of the several $1,000s they pay to get the tolls. And the MTA's own study revealed that traffic will increase on Staten Island, air pollution will get worse, and as I mentioned, we have to pay a 3rd. So it's a 3-strike loser, which is why we sued in federal court with, among others, the UFT and municipal workers. So we're going to fight this every chance we get. We think it's bad. It hurts people, and it hurts people who can least afford to pay.
So talking about that legally, that New York judge declining your request for a preliminary injunction against the plan, your reaction to that, with all the things that you've just laid out right there, what are they looking at, do you think, in your estimation, that they would be like, you know what, no, we're going to let it kind of go as is?
Well, on one level, the people who voted this and approved it really are responsible for implementing it. We came along, and once they said they were going forward to sue, among others, we were hopeful that they would see that the MTA and others are intentionally harming people, intentionally. They know full well that it's going to increase air pollution, especially with people who can least afford it, who already have high asthma rates and respiratory illnesses. So we thought that that would be something that they would take sort of into account and say, well, let's put the brakes on this. But they didn't. So we just have to continue to fight in the courts. And I don't know. It's a bad day for a lot of people, and it will change people's behavior in a dramatic way. And it's unfortunate. It's sad. And I think it's bad policy.
So what do you say to Staten Islanders who like many, whether it's been inflation the last couple of years, whether it's increasing taxes, whether it's all of these fees that continue to go in one direction and one direction only.
Yeah.
A lot of people we've talked to this morning are like, well, if it's going to make the subways cleaner or better, they're going to be new cars. I mean, I know there is that flip side of it, but this is still costing a lot of people a lot of money. This is not just an additional 35 cents, on an MTA car. I mean, this is a pretty big hit for a lot of people, especially for people like Staten Islanders who, as you said, don't have a train that's bringing them into the city.
No, the only train we have goes from one end of Staten Island to the other. We had to wait 50 years to get new rail cars, to give you an example of how much we're sort of second-class citizens in our own city. And then they want people to go on the subway. People have already calculated and decided they don't want to take the subway because it's either inconvenient or unsafe. It's become, as we saw a few weeks ago, that deadly attack where a guy set a woman on fire and watched her burn to death. It's become like the de facto mental institution, and they want people to take that subways. I wouldn't want my daughter to take a subway, and there are a lot of people who feel that way, so they are frustrated, they're angry. I was with some guys yesterday. They said their kids live in Manhattan. They said they're going to see their children less these days because of the $50 just to see them.
Yeah, and some of the people we've spoken with this morning who we've aired during this broadcast, safety a bigger concern. They'll be like, you know what, I'd rather pay it but than take mass transit. Yep. So it'll be very interesting. I know we're going to continue to talk about this in the days and weeks to come. We thank you for taking a couple of times for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella, and we will again probably be talking with you sooner than later. Our live team coverage of congestion pricing continues in our next half hour. We're going to check in with Doug Williams, who's on the road in Mobile 2, assessing the traffic conditions in Manhattan for us. Is it any lighter out there today? I mean, is this working? I know it's only day 1, but we'll see if there's any initial reaction and response as far as the congestion in Lower Manhattan.